All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So day one of the Tampa Pro just wrapped up. 212 and Classic Physique are going to be the main points of conversation in this video. So in 212, the champion in 212 was Kareth Baggio, and this was the guy from the Chicago Pro that was really giving Keon a run for his money. So Kareth will be going to the Olympia in a major victory for him, and I think he looked fantastic at this show based on what I saw. Definitely a deserved victory for him in 212. Now, let's go over to Classic Physique here because this has been the big point of conversation today. Classic Physique, obviously the talk of the show was that Steve Laurius was making his comeback of sorts to this Tampa Pro to try to qualify for the Olympia. Now, the winner was not Steve Laurius. It was a guy by the name of the Miracle Bear on Instagram. His real name, Urs Kalsinski. Another guy that actually competed in the Mr. Golden era a few years back. So he actually won this show, and he looked fantastic here. His conditioning was on point. Definitely a deserved victory for him. But let's talk about Steve Laurius, because Steve Laurius wound up taking fourth place here. And honestly, Steve Laurius was the reason that I was even interested in the Classic Physique division at this show. He was the reason I wanted to watch Classic Physique at this show. So Steve really, and I still believe this, has one of the best structures in Classic Physique. That's one of the things that I like about Steve, because there's some parts about bodybuilding, like genetics and genetic structure, that you just can't train for. And Steve already has that, and he has it to a really high degree. He's got like the smallest waist you've ever seen, the craziest V-taper you've ever seen. He is insanely symmetrical. He is like everything you would want in a Classic Physique competitor. So what went wrong with Steve Laurius at this show? Now, the first thing I think obviously was conditioning. The first thing that jumped out to me when I started to see especially some of the HD pictures, his conditioning looked really, really, really off. Like significantly off. And especially when I saw the pictures of him from the back, you could definitely see, if you look at his lower back and you look at his glutes and hamstrings, there's a lot of detail lacking. There's a lot of separation lacking. No striations in the glutes. When he turned around from the back, I could really see that the conditioning was definitely going to be a big problem for him at this show. Now, he was in the first call out. He was kind of in the mix, being moved around in the middle. He did wind up taking fourth place here. And that being said, I do think his conditioning was significantly off. I think that was the main issue. But I think that it speaks volumes for how good his structure really is, because I think his structure is that classic and he is that good genetically that carried him as high as fourth. Because I think if any of these other guys brought that level of conditioning, I don't think they would be in the first call out. So while I'm a massive fan of Steve, I love his physique and I want to see him on the Olympia stage, I gotta call a spade here. The conditioning was not good. It was kind of a soft, watery look for Steve, and I think at the end of the day, that was the reason he wound up in fourth. And there's really no denying that, especially now that I've seen the pictures. Like I said, it's pretty clear that there was a lot of shots where he just looked really soft and just really kind of watery in some poses. So he definitely missed the mark at this show. I guess the question will be, is he going to go on to do the Texas show? I guess there's a Classic Physique division in Spain. I don't know how many more opportunities there are for Classic Physique, because I've been following more closely men's bodybuilding. So he might have a couple more chances if he wants to compete a few more times and try to still get that qualification. But he's definitely going to have to tighten up. Conditioning was the thing that really put the nail on his coffin here. And I did not expect him to wind up in fourth. I thought maybe even if he came in a little bit off, because like I said, his structure's so good, I thought even if he came in off, he might be second or third, fourth place. I mean, that's kind of the statement they made with Rolly Winkler in Chicago, right? I mean, Rolly was that off. He was that bad that they put him in fourth. Even though Rolly's got crazy genetics, he's crazy round, he's got these crazy arms. If you come in off, you come in that off, they're going to ding you down to fourth. Now, another thing that I wanted to acknowledge too, I saw this a lot in my comment section and a lot of you guys were messaging me this, so I wanted to acknowledge this. A lot of people were saying in the physique update that I talked about, I guess a day or so ago, a lot of people were pointing out that they thought his bicep, particularly his, I guess it would be his right bicep, The bicep closer to the door, people were speculating was photoshopped in that picture. Now, I'll show you guys kind of a zoomed in version of that photo, so we'll zoom in here. Then I'll throw up a side-by-side of a picture of that bicep from the competition next to that bicep from the photo. So the main thing that a lot of people were pointing out was if you look at the door above the bicep, the door looks a little bit warped basically in the shape of an enhanced bicep. Like if he made his bicep bigger with a tool that makes it bigger, it would push everything around it out. And it looks like around the bicep where the bicep peak is, it looks like the door is pushed up a little bit. And if you compare the stage photo versus the update photo, the peak looks a little bit higher. In the update photo, the peak looks a lot more like Mount Everest, and on stage it looks a lot more like Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, don't get me wrong. Steve Laurius, one of the best parts of his physique is his biceps. He's got insane peaks to his biceps, and that's one of the things that I think makes him look so crazy, especially in the front double bicep when he's got his lats flared out. You can see his V-taper. He's got these super peaked biceps. He's got the crazy small waist. He's hitting a vacuum pose. Those are the shots where Steve's physique really looks crazy and really looks classic. And I think his biceps are one of his strongest points. But I'm not going to lie, I didn't notice this at first, but when I saw a lot of your guys' comments and messages, I got to agree. It's definitely kind of a question mark there. Now, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But I'm just letting you guys decide in the comment section below. What do you guys think after zooming into it? Were we bamboozled by the physique update? Was it maybe a little bit of Adobe gains that threw us off? Because I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw that physique update and he said in the caption that that was 3 weeks out or almost 3 weeks out, I thought for sure he's going to come in and dominate this show. I mean, let's show the whole thing again. I mean, he looks fantastic in this physique update. He looks like the definition of classic physique in this physique update. When you see this, you're like, who has a better physique than this that's not already qualified for the Olympia? You would think there's no chance he would lose a show like the Tampa Pro, but he did. Now, I do think it was deserved that he did not win that show. I got to say, even with the crazy physique that he has, and as big of a fan as I am, the conditioning was off, and there's no denying it. It was that off that I think there's no way he should have won that show. And I think a lot of time people say, you know, this guy only won because he's popular on social media. The judges only picked this guy because he's popular on social media. This is a situation where the judges made the right call, and the guy that is really popular on social media, the guy who's the reason why a lot of people were watching this show, wasn't even in the top 3 because he was off. And I think that if people are going to call out when they think judges are being biased, I think they should call out when judges are making the right call, and this was one of those times. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did in fact enjoy it, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. Keep in mind, we've got Tampa Pro coverage coming tomorrow, so if you want to hear the latest and greatest Tampa Pro news for men's open bodybuilding, make sure you subscribe to this channel and stay tuned. As always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.